Well, welcome to my channel. A couple of years ago I bought this book, and I've always had an inkling to make one of these. Obviously this is the Mark 1 Quorn by Professor D.H. Chaddock, and today from Hemingway Tools you can buy the Quorn Mk3 kit. So I went ahead during the end of lockdown to buy the kit. I'm glad it was inanimate objects and not something that needed walking or feeding, because it's sat there ever since. But anyway, we've got a full list of construction notes here to follow. I've had a quick look through, very extensive. I think you've got to read between the lines with some of these things. But we'll see how we go. We've got users notes. Obviously once you've built the Mark III Quorn, it's then going to run you through all of the operations of the Quorn, which at the moment look very complicated to me, but I'm sure some of it will come along. I've got plenty of high-speed steel to practice on anyway, and quite a collection of some old cutters. You get a worksheet so you can mark down what you've managed to do, how you've gone along with it. I suppose you could put down your remarks, your time. I'm not going to go into the parts of the kit in such, because we'll just see them as they come along. Now the drawings are excellent. You get, there must be nearly 30 drawings. These are the full construction notes. I'm not again going to show some of the more detailed ones, because these are obviously belong to Hemingway, and if anybody wants these drawings, then please go and buy off them. There are people out there that have put these things on the internet. I went and bought them. You're in a sense sponsoring them for their time and effort making up these drawings. Like I say, some of them are rather wonderful. Gives you an idea. This is with a different tool fastened on there, which again I will get into. But the first job is to start to do these bars. You've got a front bar and the rear bar, and the first two castings, these two here, is to prepare them by machining these inside faces underneath. Do the feet first to get them flat, and then the inside faces, and then you bore these bores out as accurate as you can for the two supplied bars that you get in the kit, that hopefully we'll get onto very shortly. Anyway, enough of all of that. I want to start to create, so let's see how we go. Right, it's time to make a start. So this is a first drawing that we get of the full assembly, which is all well and nice, but the first thing that are asked for are the base assembly bars. Now what I do like is on your notes, as well as the item numbers that are listed in the instructions, it does tell you which sheet they're on as well, because it's a little bit of trawling through everything to try and find the part you're actually looking for. But luckily enough here, they also tell you what sheet you're on. Now, like I say, some of the drawings I'm not going to show because they belong to Hemingway. But what we're going to do, this is the rear bar and this is the front bar. These two are made out of ground precision 1 inch. I think they quote it as silver steel. We'll have a look. Yeah, ground stock, high tensile. High tensile, could be silver steel, same thing near enough. Although someone will probably say different. So we've got the rear bar, we've got the front bar. Now these are identical in the diameter except the length. Now it's mentioned in the length. The back bar is just faced up to length with a chamfer on either end, but the front bar has a drilled hole in one end. It asks you not to put a centre in the other end because you've got this micrometer adjuster here that actually presses, the anvil presses against this, and this in turn moves this bar in and out to give you very fine adjustment on the assembly that goes on this rod. Now, like I say, I'm not going to try and put these splits in. I'm going to go down the cotter pin. I think the front there, there's another one there, basically because I just want to. So the first thing is to flick these up. Now they do say this central column here, this vertical column, in the old kit you had to turn and you had to work out with your ratios this pitch that they give you. And what they do now, they actually supply this with you. I'll show you that in a later vid. This has got the spiral around it, and it's also got almost like a keyway cut straight down the back for 2 grub screws that locate in this column. And this basically is just to stop the head from falling down. If you do undo it and you want to finally adjust the head, and it's just a safety feature, which is, I think, is pretty good. So anyway, onto the bars, the drawings. Like I say, I'm going to face this end up, and there's going to be no pips. Now it does mention in these instructions, because these instructions come from the original book, which I think is about the 60s or the 70s or somewhere. Because it was originally done on a small hobby lathe and they didn't have the spindle diameter to fit these bars down, a lot of these things were done on Myfords, and it does tell you about putting them in a forge yard. Now I'm lucky with my lathe. I've got a bore of 2 inch, and I've also got a C5 collet chuck, which I'm going to put on with a collet and hold these bars, which for me will be a lot more precise in machining the ends, and I do not have to put centres in anything. This end here does, sorry, no, it's that end. No, it's not, I'm going mad now. It is this end, does have a flat bottom drilled hole in the end with a spring that causes tension with this micrometer adjustment here. You can see in the drawing there how this will have a plunger on there and will give you a very fine feed for very small adjustments. Right, that's that. Let's go over to the lathe. Okay, so I've mounted my chuck and I'm just facing off the last bar here. I couldn't see the point in showing the other bars because all we're doing is facing them up. I'm using a small carbide brazed on tool because I find out it's cutting the high tensile bar better than anything else. Just put a small chamfer on the end. I'm not really sizing the chamfer, I'm just putting it on by eye, about a millimetre, 30-40 thou. Just take the edges off with a file. And polish the ends up with a little piece of emery. And once I've done this, it's over to the bench, out with the vernier, and we'll measure it up. You have to excuse me for my complete lack of health and safety in the tool being in the tool post, but old habits do seem to die hard. Okay, this is the final bar to be faced up, and I'm just checking the overall measurement. And after this, the drawing's then asking for a 1332 hole to be flat bottomed, about 2.5 inches deep. This will take the anti-backlash spring in one end for the front bar that has the micrometer setting on the other. Right, it's the first two pieces done. This is the front bar, flat bottom hole in the end, ready for the spring, ready for doing the base castings. This is the back bar. You'll have to excuse my video in editing skills, everything's a learning curve. It's either going to go down like a lead balloon or, well, we'll wait and see. Anyway, next will be the castings.